when diplomacy chases missiles instead of leading the charge. As the second week of airstrikes between Israel and Iran shatters lives and destabilizes the region, global powers are scrambling to contain a crisis that threatens to spiral beyond borders. With negotiations stalled and threats mounting, the question now is not just how the war began, but how and if it can end. Well, as we delve into the details, these and many more will be explored in today's Flash News. Good afternoon and welcome. I am Tabitha Akor. Let's begin. As Israeli airstrikes and Iranian missile attacks escalate into a second week of open warfare, Europe is intensifying efforts to draw Iran back to the negotiating table. But with Tehran refusing to engage while under bombardment and the United States still weighing military involvement, can diplomacy succeed before the region slides into deeper chaos? Iran declared on Friday that it would not negotiate its nuclear future under ongoing Israeli attacks. This comes as Western powers, including the United States, consider broader intervention, with President Donald Trump expected to make a decision within 2 weeks. Israel launched its campaign last Friday, citing a need to prevent Iran from acquiring nuclear weapons, a claim Tehran denies, insisting its nuclear program is for peaceful purposes. Since then, both sides have traded strikes with significant casualties reported on each side. Now, what's at stake in this unfolding air war? And can any power broker bring both nations back from the brink of collapse? We see that human rights activists news agency reported 639 Iranian deaths due to Israeli airstrikes, including top military officials and nuclear scientists. Israel, meanwhile, has reported the deaths of at least 2,000 civilians due to Iranian missile fire, though Reuters could not independently verify the figures. However, the strikes have extended beyond the military targets. We see that in Iran, Israel has hit nuclear facilities, missile systems, and civilian areas in an apparent attempt to destabilize the Iranian leadership. Iran has also responded in kind, targeting military installations as well as civilian structures, including a hospital in Beersheba. Take a look. Now we cluster munitions by Iran right there on the screen, as alleged by Israel, has raised serious concerns over adherence to international warfare conventions. Iran has yet to comment on these accusations whatsoever. However, Iran's emergency services confirmed that 5 hospitals have been damaged in Israeli air raids. As civilian infrastructure crumbles, the pressure on foreign mediators has also intensified. Meanwhile, what's it at diplomatic front lines? We see that in Geneva, the foreign minister of Britain, France, Germany, and the European Union's top diplomats are meeting Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi in a last-ditch bid to ease tensions. British Foreign Secretary David Lammy stressed the urgency of halting the violence, warning of a broader regional implosion. Also, United States Secretary of State Marco Rubio, after consultations with allies, echoed the view that Iran must never develop nuclear weapons. While the United States publicly backs a diplomatic solution, it is clear that military options are under review. Trump's decision could shape or not shape the conflict's trajectory. Now we see that Arakchi, however, has stated clearly that Iran will not negotiate under fire, with missile submarines wheeling across Israeli cities, including Beersheba, and airstrikes rocking Tehran. The chances of swift diplomacy appear dim. Also, crisis in southern Israel. We see on Friday morning saw a missile strike directly hit in Beersheba, Israel's largest southern city. Now it landed near residential buildings and industrial sites, causing extensive damage and light injuries to at least 6 people. The Israeli military warned of more incoming attacks, while responders continued to search for casualties. Now, footage aired by local media you just saw on the screen right there showed burning vehicles and shattered buildings, a stark image of a conflict drawing closer to civilian life with each day passing by. Now, is Iran calculating a broader response? Well, Iran also struck a major hospital in Beersheba, claiming it was near a military command center. Israel disputes this, denying any military presence nearby. In response, Israel targeted missile production facilities and nuclear research sites in Tehran overnight. Meanwhile, Israeli Foreign Minister Israel Katz hinted at possible action against Hezbollah after the Lebanese group signaled support for Iran. We see that President Donald Trump has also reportedly discussed the use of powerful bunker buster bombs to cripple Iran's underground nuclear sites. Yet, as in past crises, Trump's 2-week timeline could be fluid. Take a look.
I have ideas as to what to do, but I haven't made a final. I like to make the final decision 1 second before it's due, because things change. I mean.
A silent objective or an inevitable consequences. As we see and as the days unfold, though some Israeli officials claim the collapse of Iran's regime is not the goal, their strikes on leadership infrastructure suggest otherwise. Still, analysts question whether such tactics can spur a popular uprising under wartime conditions. Also, activists in Iran say fear, not freedom, drives public sentiment now. Now, how can people protest when survival is at stake? Asks Atena Daimi, a rights advocate who recently fled Iran after 6 years in prison. Well, moving forward, we see that as Tehran faces its gravest external threat since the 1979 revolution, and with the United States, Europe, Russia, and China entangled in varied positions, the big question remains, can any party halt the momentum toward a wider regional war? It is the Israel-Iran war long spoken about. Well, as the days unfold, we'll get to know if this war will come to an end or diplomatic talks will definitely take a hold. And moving on over to Thailand's Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra faces mounting political pressure as a key coalition partner prepares to demand her resignation, threatening to collapse her government just 10 months into her tenure. Paetongtarn, who is 38 years and relatively new to national politics, is confronting multiple crises: a weakening economy, escalating border tensions with Cambodia, and growing discontent within the ruling coalition. Now, with the United Thai Nation Party poised to withdraw support unless she steps down, her hold on power appears increasingly fragile. Now, could the sudden shift in the United Thai Nation's loyalty signal deeper fractures within Thailand's political elite? To UTN, sources told Reuters the party will condition its continued alliance on Paetongtarn's resignation, though the timing of the ultimatum remains unclear. The pressure intensified following the abrupt exit of the influential Undaunted party on Wednesday, leaving the coalition's majority in jeopardy. Although the Democrat Party reaffirmed its support, Turn's survival in office now hinges on behind-the-scenes negotiations to prevent a wider collapse. Now, reflecting investors' concerns right here, the Thai baht weakened for the 5th consecutive session on Friday, marking its worst weekly performance since February. Tang's leadership is unfolding against the backdrop of a family legacy steeped in political conflict. As daughter of Thaksin Shinawatra, a former premier ousted in a 2006 coup, she represents a political dynasty that has withered repeated attempts at dismantling through military takeovers and court rulings. Yet, her administration now struggles to assert dominance amid growing instability in the region. Now, one major blow came from the leak of a private phone call between her and Cambodia's former leader, Hun Sen, once seen as an ally of the Shinawatra family. Now, in the call, she downplayed a top Thai general's concerns over a border dispute, which critics claim undermines Thailand's national integrity. Now, how will this perceived misstep affect military confidence in her leadership? Meanwhile, pro-democracy and anti-government groups, many with histories of toppling previous Shinawatra's government, have announced a large protest in Bangkok on June 28. Now, the rally aims to pressure Turn to resign and demand coalition members exit her government. Now, despite the turmoil, Turn has not publicly addressed the resignation threat. Instead, she appeared alongside top military officials on Thursday, pledging to defend Thailand's sovereignty. She is scheduled to visit border troops on Friday to bolster morale, including a meeting with Lieutenant General Bun Sin Padkanglang. Now, the officer she criticized in the leaked call. Unless few Thai party can negotiate a last-minute agreement to hold the coalition together, Turn's options are narrowing. Also, a cabinet reshuffle is reportedly being considered to fill ministerial vacancies and placate allies, but it may not be enough. Would a snap election favor the emboldened progressive opposition? We see that with public support for Hugh Thai reportedly in decline, new elections could shift power to the People's Party, the largest force in parliament, and a growing threat to establishment politics. As internal revolt builds and external tensions mount, Thailand's youngest ever prime minister faces a critical political reckoning. Can she defuse the crisis before her administration collapses? A critical question. Now over to China. We see that in China, a Chinese doctoral student, Hao Zhou, has been sentenced to life in prison after being found guilty of multiple sexual offenses, including the rape of 10 women across the United Kingdom and China. Zhou, who is 28 years, was convicted in March on 11 counts of rape, 1 count of forced imprisonment, 3 counts of voyeurism, and additional charges related to the possession of extreme pornographic content and drugs intended to facilitate sexual assault. On Thursday, the Inner London Crown Court ordered that Zhou serve a minimum of 24 years before he can be considered for parole, factoring in more than 22 years already served on remand. Now, meanwhile, authorities described Zhou as a manipulative predator who targeted his victims, mostly Chinese female students, through WeChat and dating platforms. He invited them to his residence in London and China, where he drugged, sexually assaulted, and in some cases filmed them without their knowledge. Investigators discovered that he also stole personal items such as jewelry and clothing from his victims. Now we see that the Metropolitan Police said Zau's attack were calculated and deliberate, exploiting his victims' trust and vulnerability. Several women were unconscious and incapable of defending themselves at the time of the assault. Zau was a PhD candidate at University College London, where he was arrested in early 2024 after one of his victims courageously reported the assault. That testimony helped uncover a wider pattern of abuse and led to the discovery of disturbing evidence, including recordings of the attack. Now, there are growing concerns that the true number of victims may far exceed the 10 cases brought to trial. UK authorities have since launched a broader investigation, urging other potential survivors to come forward. Now, this case underscores the importance of international cooperation in tackling transnational sexual crimes and highlights the growing need for digital safety and support mechanisms for international students. Zau's conviction marks a significant step toward justice for the victims and sends a clear message. Predators who exploit trust and cross borders to commit such crimes will be held accountable. Well, until next time, this is where we'll be drawing the curtain on today's Flash News. Remember, we're bringing you Horizon at the top of the hour, 4 p.m. Until then, stay safe.